Hello YouTube, welcome to this new video from Vectis 3D Models. This is a new instruction video for a new 3D printed detailing part for KR Models Bulleid Leader. I have a new model in from a customer who wants it detailed and spritzed up a little bit, shall we say, and he asked me, could you do some brake rigging, because I don't want to do what you did, which is to basically pay quite a lot of money for various brass etches to produce some brake rigging, and even that isn't correct anyway. Now the brake rigging is non-existent on this model. It is just basically injection molded plastic with the brake hangers but nothing underneath. You're left to your own devices on that. So at the end of the day, I can understand they don't have very many photos of that area, although you can sort of work bits out. So this is more of a representation of what it may have been, because we haven't got enough photos and I certainly can't see any more in the books that I have. So without further ado, let's head over to the workbench and I'll take you through bit by bit on what to do and also what tools you need. So welcome to my rather overcrowded workbench with a lot on it at this moment in time. We have the bogey tower, or bogey surround I should say, which clips onto the tower of the leader. I also have our 3D printed components just here. So this is all the brake rigging yokes. So we have the front and the rears on singles at the front. And we also have the jointed ones which are closer together for the brake hangers, which are between the actual wheel sets, because they're quite close. One's a bit further away than the other and one's a bit closer, and you can see that quite easily from the tops of these yokes. There's a small little pin which locates into the brake hanger, which you'll need to drill a small hole for, just so it slots in there and you can glue them in place. Also on the ends there are small holes to drill. There's a small indentation on the ends of this brake rigging, so should be easy to locate the drill. Also just check that there's no damage on these 3D prints, as they're cleaned, washed and cured, then put into storage boxes to be sent out to you, the customer. So just check that it's all okay, and they will be supplied on their supports or sprue, just as it's easier to send and also keeps them in one piece. To remove them from the sprue, you could warm them up in some warm water and the support should break away. However, if you don't want to do that, it has some flash cutters available, as well as a needle file. And to drill the holes you will need a small pin vise and a 0.45mm drill bit. Now of course you'll require some brass wire, which I have here. This is 0.45 brass wire, in millimeters that is, 0.45mm, and this is what we're going to use to join the brake rigging together. Now also, as I mentioned, you'll also need to drill into the ends of these brake hangers, which I'll zoom into and give you a bit of a close-up view. So you can see on the ends of the brake hangers they're slightly more rounded, so you'll need to drill on the inside face a very small hole in the centre if you can. You're probably using your 0.45 drill or the 0.5mm just in case, if you want a little bit of wiggle room. But if you just drill a small indentation into the ends of the brake hangers, they should sit there quite nicely. So you can see the single ones are on the ends, like so, and then you've got the clasps or hangers in between the wheel sets. So first off I'm going to prepare the brake hangers, which are here. You can see I've already test fitted two lots. So we've got the two together, which is the first leading axle to the mid axle, and we've got the front yoke in position. So I'm going to use a little pin vise with a 0.45mm drill bit in the end. And what I need to do, as I've said before, is to just make a small indentation, not a massive hole, but again, just mind your fingers and just try and get it in the center if you can. Because this is injection molded plastic, it does slip off quite easily, so you do have to be careful. So you can probably just about see now there's a small indentation on that brake hanger, so hopefully the pin on the end of the yoke will clip in there not too badly. And now I've just got to do all of these and risk the rest of my fingers. So here we are with the brake rigging, and need some snips, and I'm just going to cut around the back part just here. It should come off quite easily. They're very, very thin support, so you can just pull and twist, and that should remove those. And then you can just trim underneath the support. Put my thumb over the top so it doesn't fly off. Then remove the big support at the back. So this is one of the rear yokes, or front or rear. As you can see, you just pull and twist and they come off quite easily. So that's one. They'll need a little bit of cleaning up along the top edge. Just going to remove the next piece. This is the closer of the two yokes. You can see close and wider, and then close again. Just going to give it a complete snip underneath. Like so. I'm just going to clean that up. Just be a little bit careful with some of these. There we go. So it just needs a little bit more tidying up with a needle file. There we go. And next, what I'll need to do is I will need to just drill the holes in the ends, ready for brass wire. So after removing the yokes and brake rigging from the sprue, I now need to drill the holes in the end. I'm going to use a pin vise and a 0.45mm drill bit, which is the same as the brass wire. Just going to go very carefully. For the first couple of turns I'll go backwards, and then I'll start easing my way forwards. And if you've got a very small vise, that'd be fantastic, so you don't have to drill through your fingers. Just taking it very, very easily. With these parts being quite translucent, you can see how far in you are on the small armature there. So I'm just going to finish off the other two, and then we're going to head over to the bottom of the plastic part of the bogie, and just to see how they fit into place. So a small tweak in of the brake hangers, and they're holding quite well. Those are slightly wider spread than I expected. So I'm going to just try and fit the end yoke, which goes just underneath the brake cylinders or vacuum cylinders. Again, as I say, they are very, very fiddly. There you go, that one's a bit more simple, and yeah, they do rotate a little bit. So what I need to do now is I need to cut some brass wire to length and stick them in position, wait for the glue to dry off, and then I can probably then paint and fix into place. So with the brass wire cut, I have cut this using some flash cutters, and it is cut from 0.45mm brass wire. It's a bit thin for brake rigging, but at the end of the day it's what most people will have in their drawers for repairing things or handrails, etc. in general. And also just want to keep it quite fine scale and neat and tidy. So you can get most of this brass wire from any sort of general model shop, hopefully. You can go up to 0.5 of a mil if you can only find that. But generally I can find this quite easily, although I'm having a hard time getting it delivered at the moment. So hopefully in the long run maybe I can provide this with the kit as well. Anyway, I've cut it with some flash cutters, and measuring each section, of course there's 6 parts, so 22mm or 2.2 centimeters, and of course these vary depending on how far you've drilled the hole into the resin section of the yoke as well. As 22, so they're all 22mm long. So what I'm going to do now is just clean off the ends, make sure there's no burrs on them at all from where I've cut them, and I'm going to dry fit them to the yokes on the actual bogie frame, you can see there. Once I'm happy and all the lengths are okay, I will then glue them. The brass rods have been fitted into position, trial fitted and then glued. They look pretty good to me, and they look pretty stable and all nice and together. So what I'll do now is I'll just leave the glue to dry off, and next time I have a bit of free time I'll then paint them and put them back into place and fix the yokes to the brake hangers. So hopefully this has been useful for you, and hopefully you can find these new items either on eBay if I'm still on there, or Made Me again if I'm still on there, because there is a new web shop coming very soon which you'll be able to use PayPal, card or other payment methods available. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see an order from you very soon, and thanks as ever for all your support.